I am 101 years old, and I am about to tell you something that your parents and your self-help books will never tell you. They won't say it because it is far too painful and intensely real. I have lived for over a century. I have buried 2 husbands, my firstborn son, most of my closest friends, and absolutely everyone I knew before I turned 40. In all that time, I have learned one brutal truth that haunts me. We are all living like we have forever, when we barely have anything at all. Let me tell you when I actually learned this. Not at 90 or 80. I was 31. It took me another 70 years to fully understand what that agonizing moment was trying to teach me. It was November 12th, 1954, a Friday. I had been planning to go to the cinema that weekend with my husband, Arthur. We had been married 9 years with 2 little ones, Thomas and Sarah. Arthur worked at the railroad yard. He was a good, steady man who would kiss my forehead every morning and say, "See you for dinner, Evelyn." Except that Friday, he didn't come home. There was a terrible accident at the rail yard. They promised me he didn't suffer, but they always say that. What nobody ever warns you about is that when someone dies suddenly, they take all your unsaid words with them. Every "I love you" you were too busy to say. Every argument you didn't apologize for. Every moment you were too tired to just be present. That night, sitting completely alone at our kitchen table, I made a promise to the empty room. I promised I would never waste another day. I promised I would live intentionally and never postpone joy again. And do you know what? I broke that promise almost immediately. I thought I was living better for a while. I hugged my children more. But then life happens, doesn't it? I remarried. I got busy with my job. I told myself I had learned my lesson, but I hadn't. Because here is what I didn't understand at 31. The real tragedy is that you will forget. You will slip right back into autopilot. You will start believing that you have an endless supply of time again. And that slow drift back into complacency, that is the real tragedy. I married again in 1959. Henry. He was a very sweet man. We had 38 years together before a stroke took him. My deepest regret about those years isn't the fights or financial troubles. My deepest regret is all the ordinary Wednesday nights I spent fiercely scrubbing the kitchen floor instead of just sitting on the porch with him. All the times I said, "Not right now, Henry, I'm busy," when he wanted to take a walk. I treated his presence like it was guaranteed. Here is what nobody tells you about living to be my age. You don't just lose the people you love. You lose them over and over in your memory. Every time you think about them, you remember another specific moment you foolishly wasted. My son Thomas died in 1991. He was 42. Leukemia. I remember sitting by his pale hospital bed, tightly holding his frail hand. He looked at me with such heavy sadness and whispered, "Mom, I'm so sorry I didn't call more often." I wanted to scream, "Why didn't we just call each other every single day?" But I didn't. I just held his cold hand and lied. I forced a smile and said, "We had enough time." We didn't. He was gone 2 days later. You are young. You are sitting there staring at a screen thinking, everyone dies eventually. But you are entirely missing the point. The point isn't that everyone dies. The point is that you are acting like you are the magical exception, like you will miraculously have time later to live the way you truly want to live. I am 101 years old, and I can tell you with terrifying certainty, later never comes. You think you will travel when you retire. Your knees will be shot by then. You think you will reconnect with your brother after this busy period at work. That busy period will last 20 years, and then he will be gone. You think you will take that trip and have that deep conversation when you finally have more time and money. You won't. The cruelest joke is that you do have time right now. You just trade it for meaningless things. You waste it agonizing over things that won't matter in 5 years. And then one day, you will look back and realize you had all the time you needed. You just refused to use it. I am not telling you to quit your job. I am begging you to pay attention right now, today, to what you are doing with your one brief life. Your grandmother, is she still alive? Call her today, because I am a grandmother and I know exactly what she is doing. She is sitting in a quiet room, looking at old photographs, thinking about grandchildren who are simply too busy for her. It breaks her heart a little more each day. Your parents won't be here forever. When they are gone, you won't care about that stupid argument you had. You will only care about all the visits you postponed. I know this because I am that parent now. My daughter Sarah visits me every Tuesday, and it is never enough time. Every Tuesday when she leaves, I watch her walk to her car and I think, will I ever see her again? At my age, every goodbye might actually be the last one. But here is the secret. It is not different for you just because you are young. Every goodbye might be the last one for you, too. You just don't believe it yet. Last month, my great-grandson Leo came to visit me. He is 17. He spent the entire hour staring down at his glowing phone. I didn't say anything. Because he thinks he has forever. He thinks his friends' text messages are urgent. Someday it will hurt him in ways he cannot possibly imagine yet. That is what I want to desperately save you from. The regret of simple absence, of being physically in the room, but mentally miles away. I am not going to be here much longer. My body is tired. It has worked for a century, and it is ready to stop. And I am perfectly okay with that. But I am not okay with the thought that you might sleepwalk through your life the way I did. The moments that matter are not the big ones. They are the ordinary Tuesday afternoons when you were just fully, completely there. If I could go back to 31-year-old Evelyn, I would tell her, you will forget to be present, but your real job is to remember and return. Return to presence. Return to love. Stop reading this. Close the screen. Go look at the people you love while they are still here. Because I promise you, later never comes.